What's up, brothers? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Finally had a little bit of a crack in the market. The market has been showing some signs of being tired for quite some time. And with the CPI tomorrow, I think this is a good time to really dig into the market indices, see what's happening, and then we'll go into my watch list for tomorrow. But before we even get into that, I want to just repeat, this market is a little bit tired and it needs to probably pull back and fill some areas. We're starting to see some cracks in some of those high-flying names, and that's where, when I see that, when the leading stocks are starting to crack a little bit and the gaps are fading, it gives me caution. Does that mean that the bull market is over by any chance? No. But we do have to just take into account, right, some price action. For example, one of the things that we were talking about in the morning was that this Palantir was an exhaustion gap. So it gapped up to 80. It was 83 in the pre-market. It got flushed all the way down to 71, right? In the past, so many days, right, weeks, months, every gap on this has been getting bought, followed through. And so we had this. Or opening tick, right, IONQ, another one of these high-flying stocks that's been, just something the traders are just piling into, right? Look at all the volume on this. It got cracked out the first candle. Coin, right? What looked like a big breakout in the works, right? Everybody was chasing into this thing. Boom, rolled over. It dropped down 30 points at one point. Been taken out, right? MSTR down about 30 points intraday after an opening spike. Nasty little stuff, right? And so you saw these kind of things. Now, does that mean the trend is over? No, these are just one-day candles, right? But what we have to just be mindful of is this is a watch list of stocks I have. I mean, look if you sort by 30 days, 90 days, right? Look at the action that's been in some of these names in the last, right, 30 days. 100, 200%, 300%, right? This is, it's been an incredible run. But we need to see some of these pulls, right? Like you can see this type of stuff is happening a lot where you have these big trenders and then boom, right? You get these kind of candles that just come out of nowhere and, they're getting sold off and right. And they're turning on the jets, and so you're seeing a lot of failed breakouts. This IOND, this was a stock I had on my watch list forever waiting for this breakout and it popped through and then just got rugged, right? Pretty much immediately. Right, RKLB, you're starting to see some big red candles. So this doesn't mean that the market is done or anything like that. But see, like even this lemonade, you had this little flag pattern here, right? And now you're starting to get these bigger down candles. And so what that's telling you is that, the easy money is over. The easy money is when, you're just riding up your 9 EMA and everything is breaking out of their big bases and all of this kind of fun stuff. That part is over. It doesn't mean that the fun is over. What it means is that these stocks, the ones that have been the hot ones, they're going to have to digest these gains, and that can often take months, if not even longer. Because if you're up 300, 400%, going sideways, if you're on your third or fourth leg of breakout, going sideways for like a week or so is not going to really do much. You usually will need to back and fill an area for a little bit of time. And you may need to kind of churn out some buyers and sellers, right? Do a little moving average churn and chop, and that will start to build out the bases that you need, And so we saw this all over the place, right? Like this NBIS was a really, really hot one, but, nasty big candle here, right? So you can't come in and just dip by this after one down day. And this was across the board. My whole watch list was basically, right, like this. Even the gap on SNCI got faded off today. So this is just a little bit of this kind of change in price action. Tesla gapped up, ran to 405, and right, boom, it got rugged 30 points. That's telling you something there, right? Like, hey, maybe we need a little bit of a breather. Now, the good thing is there's all sorts of stocks running around. There's going to be stuff for us to play. Chinese names were really hot today. There's, we today only did shorts. We shorted IONQ, QBTS, all of these, we were piling into them one after another, playing a little hot potato. And so there was some action on the short side for the first time in quite some time. But I think that there's going to be, some decent action coming here in, there's going to be some decent action here coming into these small caps, mid caps that have been running so hot, we need to probably, take a few of these down and let things rotate over into the next, kind of next realm of, hot stocks that everybody's going to trade. So let's get into the watch list for today. So I want to add some China names to the watch list. They haven't been following through at all after, of recent since this original pop. They've had lots of gaps and then fade, gap, fade. So tomorrow will be key. If there's any weakness on it and it gets bought up, that'll be a little bit of a change in character and tell me that these things are here to stay for a little bit. If you see here, we did have the biggest volume day, right, since the original pop. And so I want to put Los Tigres on the watch list. I want to put Futu on the watch list. You got to break out. You're breaking over these MAs. And by the way, these are just for day trades. I try not to swing trade China stocks. Too much heartburn, right? Too much heartburn because they gap a lot, right? One day they gap up 20%. The next day they gap down 10, 20%, it's just too much heartache, right? I've been through that game too many times. So you do have this Futu here. You're starting to come out of range. And you got just a nice kind of wedge that it's been coming out of a long period of time here. And this is pretty powerful. Once again, this had big volume for the first time since its run. So I think this has got, definitely a chance to go. So we'll see tomorrow. If they dip down at any point tomorrow, they don't actually roll over and go back into their downtrend, then I think that's going to be pretty bullish. YMM is another one. Look at the base on this thing, right? Big 23 million shares in volume coming out of all this range. So I want to see this thing dip down and then, we'll see kind of where we're at. While the market is digesting some of the action and some of these other high-flying names like your PLTRs, IONQs, so on and so forth, the MSTR types. There's a new set of earnings breakouts that I think we want to start stalking to see if we can get some entry points. This Asan, look at the, the crazy volume that's been in. I think it's 2 biggest days in the last couple of years. Awesome breakout of all sorts of ranges here. And I like to see these kind of power drives at the open. I'm an open trader, so I like to see power drives at the open. So I think this is an earnings breakout that we really, really want to be watching. I think DocuSign is another one. If you look here, look at all this base that it's cooking out of. This has got another big base out of here. We were down a little bit today, but as long as it holds this breakout bar, I think this is in play. Lululemons, right? This is another one that I think I want to really be a part of. RBRK, I think this is, on the watch list for tomorrow. This was the opening, the high of a couple days ago on Friday. And then today was an inside day, but a bullish day, considering all these high flyers were getting knocked down. And this one is also a high flyer. Dude, it got bought up pretty quick. It gapped down and immediately reversed and then had a little bit of action on it. So I want to put this on the watch list for tomorrow too. I think all of those are in play. Now, beyond that, I want to add a couple shorts to the watch list in case the market gets rugged tomorrow. I think the relative strength or relative weakness is on AMD. You got a bear flag breakdown on this. I won't chase this thing down if it gaps down tomorrow because it might just be getting, at that point, you lose some of that. The market's not been kind when just shorting big gap downs after it already just did one. So, doing it the second or third day in a row because it's down a couple days in a row. But you're clearing out this level here. If you spike up tomorrow and you kind of marinate into this 132, 134 and the market starts to roll and we get a quick spike on this, that's where I would look to do it. So like what I usually like to do on these kind of things, oftentimes in these kind of bull markets, you see a $1, $2, $3 candle, just like first candle at the open. It'll run into some supply spot and then boom, it'll get rugged over and, and then you can kind of continue and you'll have a little bit more room to do. And, this thing's a turd. Like this thing it's been a turd for, really 6 months now, right? But any pop on this, I want to take this bad boy down. Amazon is another one. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I had some good trades on this. I shorted this at the open and I had the 227 puts. They did pretty good, and then we took it again at the end of the day. It's been not epic range; it's more like $2-3 a time. But if you do the puts, the puts have been working and they're liquid. You just freaking market order those things too, which I like because you can't do that with a lot of options. And you can see here, right? It's just a little longer too. Top of the Bollinger Band, but still $10 from the 9 EMA. Not the sexiest name, but you can add some size to it. You know, same thing with AMD. You know, I'll probably do the puts on those. I usually like to trade shares, but on these kind of names where they're only moving like 1% here, 2% here, right? We go in with the puts and we see what's up. Beyond that, you know, I'm looking for some cracks and some, if the market keeps rolling, which you never know. They've often been just one-off days. You know, the Soundhound had a little bit of an indecision candle, but you could tell here, look, you get a $3 drop here, so the sellers are in there somewhere, right? The sellers are in there somewhere. So, you know, if I need a short, I'm thinking a day 2 on this one, a day 2 on IONQ potentially. Now, look, IONQ's had some nasty down days before. See this right here? And it's got bought up every single time, right? So I'm cautious. Like, you know, I'm not going to put my, you know, pride on the line and say it's a short unless I see the look tomorrow, right? But we are a little bit long in the tooth here, and it's probably time to take some of these things down. But just be, you know, mentally I also know, hey, just because I think that doesn't mean anything. You know, we've had these big down days before, and they've just ripped back. So I need to see, right, a little bit of a gap up, probably a green to red or something like that. Dude, we had a 6 short on this into the pop today. It's just awesome range, awesome liquidity. You can get some real size into them. You know, you can put a little margin into a little gusto. So I like the overall looks of these things. You know, on the large cap side, besides that, you know, you see some, you know, you had your first down day in Netflix out of 10. So, you know, maybe this has, right, a little bit of quesos in it. Apple's just been chugging along, so not really much we can do there. It's at an all-time high breakout. How this one is the best-looking one out of the group is beyond me, but it is. Once again, this one's pretty slow, so you got to do options on it. And, you know, Tesla's also been up quite a few days in a row. You know, you can't chase it up. So if it gaps up tomorrow, you can't do anything. But what it is doing, and it's so bullish, like if you're ripping down 20, 30 points on this thing or 20 points, dude, I mean, the buyers are stepping into this thing, right? So it's the price action even today, I would say was pretty good. Yeah, it got rugged, but the buyers do step in. You know, we were long in some for a little bit around here. It's got some action on it, right? So just keep that on the mind too. I think that's probably the relative strength one. So we want to short some of these high flyers. We got a couple of these large caps that we can play, and then I'm going to add China's to the watch list, and wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. That's it, guys. Smash that like button. Let me know if you guys have any tickers you want me to look at or anything like that. I love you guys. Peace.